We're back. Welcome to the Just a Bit Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Bertazoid Townsend. And filling in for Ryan today is Amy. Welcome back, Amy.
Glad to be back.
Yeah.
Always like being here.
We took a episode off. So there was a bunch of things going on, and
It's called life.
Life happens, and we couldn't put out a show last week, and still continuing that trend. Ryan was unable to make it. We had flooding last week, the day that we scheduled to record, and he couldn't make it out here.
He tried, though. He valiantly tried.
Yeah, he was on his way, and he calls me. He said, "Man, I'm at a standstill traffic, and they're saying that the road that leads to my house is flooded." And I was like, "Yeah, that sucks." So I mean, it just one thing after another over the past couple episodes, and we were unable to get an episode out, but. Here we are. We're putting one out now. And I'm excited because I've been playing a lot of stuff and I want to talk about it. But before I get into that, I have a few announcements I'd like to make. If you're watching the video portion of this show, you can see that I'm wearing a brand new Just a Bit Gaming t-shirt. We made a new design here it's not the new logo or anything. It's just a t-shirt design. I also made some stickers of it. But we did a caricature of Ryan and I'm Mega Man, obviously, and Ryan is the Vault Boy from Fallout. And it says Just a Bit Gaming Podcast. It's a cool design. I really like it.
I like it a lot.
It ended up turning out a lot better than I had hoped for, let's say.
It looks really good.
We worked on this design for a while, and
I want to wear the shirt, so
yeah, we got to get another one. So anybody can purchase one of these shirts. All you have to do is go to redbubble.com and you search for Just a Bit Gaming or Bertazoid. Bertazoid would be my username, my store. I will also be posting links on social media on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So if you don't follow us there, go ahead and follow us there, and we'll get them up. And I will eventually have a link on the website at jabgcast.com. So yeah, go on there, check out our shirts. I also have just a standard, like the regular logo with the punching glove. I have that t-shirt up there as well, but the t-shirt quality is really nice.
Yes.
I'm super impressed.
Get the tri-blend.
Tri-blend, yeah. I highly recommend the tri-blend.
Spring for the little
it's a
extra.
Softer, smoother, kind of thinner shirt. And I really like it. And I like the red shirt as well. So you have options on what color shirts you can choose. And I recommend the red. You want to go dark? The green looks really nice too on the tri-blend. So yeah. And we also have women's shirts. I don't know if we have kids shirts available yet. But I will be working on that.
All of our kids want
They all want one, and they'll get one.
And Ryan's kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So do that. On the second announcement, we're going to Retropalooza at the end of the month.
Yay!
In Arlington. We go every year, and the difference this time is Ryan is going with us.
And no kids.
And, well, we're not taking any kids this time, so we're going to have freedom to do a little bit more.
Yep.
But he's also bringing his wife along, Shelby, so...
It's a couple's trip.
It is. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're even going to share a hotel room.
Yeah. So we're going Friday night. And Amy and I are going Friday night, and we're gonna, I don't know, have
fun.
Why?
Because no children.
Yeah. But Retropalooza is September 29th and 30th for those that don't know, and it's in Arlington, Texas.
Yep.
Please, if you're in the area or you live in Texas, Oklahoma, or surrounding states, go take a trip down there.
It's a lot of fun.
It's really
it really
cool.
is. Even if you're not a gamer. I mean, I am a gamer just because I'm married to one. I think that's how that works.
By default.
It's a lot of fun. It's not just video game booths. There's lots of art booths out there. If you like YouTube, they've got various YouTube stars.
So this year they have a lot more YouTubers than they have in the past. Some not just retro gaming YouTubers either. They have some more modern folk.
My oldest is mad because she's going to miss someone she likes.
Yeah. There's... and they're gonna have the Angry Video Game Nerd there.
Yes, I want to see. I really, I guess backstory. You and I went to what was it? It was in Texas.
SGC.
The SGC one year, and I was pregnant with Owen, and I wanted to meet Nathan Barnett and James Rolfe.
Mm-hmm.
So Keith Apicary and Angry Video Game Nerd. And I got to meet Keith Apicary character. He's an amazing person, but I missed James Rolfe and I don't remember why. So I've always been disappointed.
Because there was a lot of people in line to see him.
That was it.
And it was at the same time as a talk that we wanted to go see. Oh,
that's right.
So yeah, the SGC was it was crazy. If you want to see all the panels, which is why you go to SGC or used to, if you go all the panels and you might miss the times that you could meet and greet some of the people that were there. It was just.
But I sat in line. You would be in one panel, and then I was a nice wife and sat there with my knitting, so I could be in front at another panel that you really wanted.
That was fun.
What was the Adam? Adam Sessler.
Yeah,
we met
I got to meet
him.
Adam Sessler. That was cool
because he was walking behind us.
Yeah. So yeah, there's also Angry Video Game Nerd. There's the Completionist.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Chad Tronick. That's the one that kids wish they could meet.
Oh yeah.
It's not really video gaming necessarily, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's very much video gaming. Yeah, there's just gonna be a ton of people there, so check it out. Meet us there. If you come say hi, we would love for you to come say hi, and if you do, we have some stickers to be handing out.
Yep.
Both of this new T-shirt design and of the just a logo design. Mm-hmm. So we'd like to meet and greet you.
Yeah, we'd like to meet you.
Yeah, so we'll be documenting the journey with a camera and a microphone. We're going to be, filming the adventures of game hunting for me and meeting the other YouTubers. But another big bonus thing that I'm really excited for is that we're going to be meeting JJ from Game Room Revival on YouTube. Search Game Room Revival. He puts out videos talking about different aspects of his gaming collection and kind of reminiscing about the past and
which is why I think he works so well with you, because you both sound like nostalgic.
Oh yeah, we're very nostalgic people. So it's fun watching his videos. He used to put out a podcast called The Frozen North, and I used to love listening to that. And it's one of the inspirations for this show. So I'm going to be meeting him for the first time there. So that's exciting, and we're going to do some podcasting together and
collaborate together. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. That's really it for Retropalooza.
So buy your shirt and come see us at Retropalooza.
Exactly. Come see us. We'll be there September 29th.
Look for bright red shirts.
Arlington, Texas. So we're going to jump straight into this now.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of excited because I watched this.
Well, I've been playing a lot of games.
Yep.
We have taken a month off, and in that time, I've played, in that time, two of the games that I was most looking forward to coming out this year that I played at E3 have released, and that's Dragon Quest XI and Spider-Man. I picked up both of those, and 2 copies of Destiny 2. Best Buy was running a special where if you buy a game that's $30 or more, you get a free copy of Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. They're giving these games away because nobody wants to play them anymore. It's so weird.
Destiny.
Not to mention, it's free on PlayStation Plus right now for the month of September.
It's like the new
ways.
ET.
Well, they just released an expansion pass expansion pack for Destiny that I am interested in playing. Destiny 2 is a fun game, despite what people say and the negative things that I hear about it a lot.
What are the negative things?
It's just there's not a lot to do, and
it's kind of
once you beat the game. For me, that's fine. Like once I beat the game, I don't really need in-game stuff.
Right.
Other people need to be able to. They want to be able to go back and play these stuff over and over again, and
so the replayability isn't.
Yeah, the worlds could be larger. It's not truly that MMO for first person shooters that people want. So I agree that it could be larger. Mm-hmm. And I wish that it was larger because let me tell you, the gunplay in Destiny is some of the best first-person shooter.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love it. It's exciting.
I kind of enjoy the story because I'm the person who watches the story.
I don't care about the story at all. Destiny 2 is the story is very secondary compared to the gameplay.
It is, but it made it enjoyable for me.
I am all for jumping into the expansion. I haven't looked much into it, but new world, new enemies, new things to collect, I'm into that.
So they're listening to what people are saying, it sounds like.
Yeah, I just wish that it could be larger because what happens is And then this is throughout the game, not just in game. You will go to a planet and you will start in a certain place. You have to go to another place to take on a big boss, and then that's it. You keep starting off in that same place, so you keep repeating the same area over and over and over again, and you fight the same bosses and enemies over and over again, and it gets repetitive really, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine for a time. And once I get through the story mode of the game and complete it, I'll go back through and play some of that stuff some more just to get some more extra loot or whatever. But I always feel like I got my money's worth out of the game when I'm done with it. And this was, and I'm saying Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 I'm referring to. They're fun games, and I don't need to come back to that game time and time again. It's one that it's like I look at it like a single player game. Once you finish it, you're done. Right. Maybe I'll come back to it, maybe I won't. But anyway, I have several now new copies of Destiny 2. All that Destiny 2 talk to say that I picked up Dragon Quest 11.
Speaking of,
that was one I played at E3, and I got a T-shirt.
Oh,
I love the T-shirt.
You wear
the T-shirt has the characters all across the silhouettes of the characters.
And you get a lot of people asking about it.
I've had several people ask me about it. Not necessarily people who know about Dragon Quest, but they just see these anime-ish looking silhouettes and want to know what it is, or they'll see the back. The logo is plastered really big on the back. It's a cool shirt. I like it. The game is really beautiful. I'm not going to get a whole lot in depth because I've only started just briefly playing it. I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. I have most of the releases that that came out here, from Dragon Warrior on the NES through Dragon Quest 9 on the Nintendo DS. So they're iconic in that they are a traditional JRPG with a turn-based battle system where you go around and you collect team members to join you, and you continue on this journey. The characters are very anime-ish. They're the character designs by Akira Toriyama, who does the Dragon Ball series.
And it looks like you're watching Dragon Ball too.
It does. It's so cool. I'm a huge fan of his artwork. So that to me, I would say that was actually my number one draw to the series. Right. Previous to that, I didn't really know much about it. The first one I ever played was Dragon Quest 8 on the PlayStation 2. Yeah. And the biggest reason I even tried to play that, besides being a fan of JRPGs, was the art style, how colorful and everything. Yes. So Dragon Quest 11 is no exception. It is super bright and colorful. I was trying to get you to check it out while we were in there when I was playing it the other night. She was on her phone. I was like, look how beautiful this game is. It's like nice and bright, vivid greens and blues and reds, and just everything looks so just,
I think when I
pleasing to the eyes,
see Dragon Ball anything, like even if it's just art style, I probably just start to tune out.
Well, I could see that, but you can't. I mean, for a PlayStation 4 game,
it is
on
very
that
pretty.
4K TV. Oh my gosh, it was just color overload. That's true. When I'm so used to games that are kind of dark and
they're
dull,
the color spectrum isn't as
big. It's not as bright or broad, and you don't see a whole lot of bright, colorful games like this. This has to be one of the most beautiful games that I have, and that's strictly speaking on if you are into cartoony, cell shaded type graphics or stuff like that. It's really, really nice to look at. But on top of that, it retains the traditional turn-based battle system of Japanese RPGs,
which you love.
That I love. This is something that died down for a while, and you could really only find JRPGs on portable systems, and they weren't really releasing on home consoles for a long time. The whole previous generation, I would say. Like there was some traditional JRPGs on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, but not very many.
That's where collecting came in handy.
Yeah, so that's actually part of the reason why I got into it, was because I wanted to experience those games again. I felt like there was a drought of JRPGs, and I wanted to experience them. So I was going back and collecting the ones that I missed out on originally. I was like, well, I guess if they're not going to release new ones, I can go back and play these old ones that I missed out on. And that started a whole cycle of what you see here and over there, and this collection. But you know what? JRPGs sparked my interest in collecting, and it still continues to be that way, and I still love them. So having a brand new JRPG like Dragon Quest XI come out in this day is awesome. And if you're into those styles of games at all, I would say get this game just to support that. We want to see more. I mean, Octopath Traveler came out. That's another traditional JRPG.
Okay.
Very good game.
I don't think I've seen you play this one, have I?
Yeah, I played on the Switch. It's that it's kind of that old looking pixel graphic.
Okay.
Maybe you haven't seen me. I always played on the Switch.
When you're on the Switch, you're usually in bed and I'm going to sleep. And
I don't think I've played it on the TV.
Play the music. I might recognize the music.
You would. Yeah, so it's really cool to see all these JRPGs coming back, and I'm excited to have that. What was the other one? Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of those games that once you start, you can't stop. It's like a Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop.
It's a Pringles game.
I started it Friday. Yeah, it came out Friday. So I picked it up and started playing it that night. I was up till, I don't know, 1 o'clock, and my bedtime's at like 11. So I stayed up past the time that I usually fall asleep to play this game. And the thing is, traversing in that game is so much fun. Just swinging.
They should do it in VR.
They did. They had a VR Spider-Man, but you couldn't swing through the city. All you could do, and it was like just a little demo. And I think it came out like right before the Homecoming movie came out.
Right. I remember now.
And it was cool, but I want to swing through the city, and they didn't let me do that. This game is like, I get so much pleasure out of just swinging through the buildings of New York City, just trying to pull off cool tricks, or how can I turn around this building real quick and do these acrobatic moves, and you can propel yourself even faster with the special move where it's like a jump move, and you just propel yourself and then swing and then propel and then swing. And
do you pretend you're Spider-Man?
I love it. Oh man, yeah. I mean, inside my head, I'm Spider-Man, and
why Owen likes it.
Yeah. And then Saturday morning, I got up and started playing it again, and I could not stop. Like, it was just, and I wasn't even really progressing the story. All I was doing was,
and you wouldn't let the kids progress the story either.
No, I can't miss the story. So you start off, and it's just like any other really modern open world game where you have to go up to these towers and unlock portion of the map that you previously couldn't see, and it has that, but it's not like it's not hard to do. It's not hard to get to and unlock these parts, and part of the fun of doing it is just getting there. And so you'll mark on your map, like, I want to get to this radio tower or whatever it is, and unlock this portion of the map. So I'll go there, unlock the portion of the map, and then you'll see like different collectibles pop up. So you have to go through and collect backpacks that Spider-Man left behind, and it has like different pieces, artifacts, or
I like that he had a portable gaming.
Yeah, or he'll find like he found a piece of his mask that was broken, and he said in his fight with I can't remember, one of the Spider-Man villains broke his eyepiece, and said it almost blinded him, and so he had to upgrade his eyepiece so it wouldn't crack so easily. It's just like different like story elements from the past of Spider-Man, and
so if you're a fan, they're fun to watch.
It's, so, and then there's also what is it? There's also like like landmarks that you can take pictures of, and you can activate the camera, and you don't have to be standing still to take a photo. So you can activate the camera, and then while you're swinging, you can try to take a really cool like action shot of the landmark. That to me is a lot of fun. It's like, It's not just going and taking a picture of something. It's how can I take the cool picture of this place? And they also have like where you have to go stop robberies or rescue somebody who's trapped in a vehicle or stop a vehicle that's running away from the cops. And they have different action parts of where you have to go crime fight, basically.
Right.
And those are fun too. It's just like I'm just having fun. I think I have all but one district unlocked on this island so far, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. The story so far is pretty decent. Just arrested Kingpin, and that's not a spoiler because it's like the first mission in the game, and that's really pretty much it. Like, I'm running around doing some favors for the cops. You know, I already went and met Aunt May. She's working for the homeless shelter, and the story mode is really well done. I'll finish the game out and have more to say about it later. Right. But for now, yeah, I highly recommend it. I know everybody's talking it up, and it's a great game. It seriously is. If you haven't played it, or if it's on the kind of maybe, I highly suggest you pick it up and play it. You'll love it. I've also been playing Hollow Knight. That was on sale on the Switch a few weeks ago. That's a really fun kind of Castlevania Metroid style game. The art style is super good in that game. You play as a little bug looking creature, and all the other creatures are kind of bug looking creatures. I don't know. It's got a unique art style that I like, and it works. But it's fun it's a 2D platformer, first off, I guess I should say that. And so you're going around. What this game does so well is makes you feel like your character progression really matters. You start off with your sword, and that's it. No special abilities or anything. You can jump and you can swing your sword. So as you progress through the game, you unlock new abilities and new, like you can do a dash jump, a forward momentum dash jump. You got this other ability where you can shoot this big ball of energy.
Is this the game that you can switch between like a pixelated one and then an updated version?
No. Okay. No. This is a whole new IP, new game. It's been out for a little while, and I've heard a lot of great stuff about it, but I've never. It didn't seem like, it looked really dark when I look at the screenshots and stuff. It looked really dark, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to get into that. But when it went on sale, I went ahead and picked it up, and let me tell you, this game is as good as everybody says it is.
Good.
Yeah, but I mean, I hate to call it like a Dark Souls game, but it kind of is in that regard. The Dark Souls games, what they do so well is making you feel kind of defenseless, where you don't really have much to go on when you start the game. But as you progress and as you overcome that challenging obstacle that maybe gave you a hard time, and you died several times, but once you got through it, you got something that is super rewarding in the end, and you're able to make your character stronger as a result.
Right.
That's what this game does really, really well. I feel like it's a challenging game. It really is. But I feel like with each new point, each new boss that I've defeated, each new ability that I've acquired, that I've gotten just that much stronger, that I can keep going and pushing forward. I love games that give you that sense of accomplishment, that sense of making yourself stronger and seeing it and fully realizing that I am having a direct impact on my character and how he progresses through this game. So Hollow Knight does a really great job at that. I highly recommend it. I feel like there's a trend here this episode. There hasn't been a game that I've played that I didn't just really, really enjoy. And Sonic Mania, I'm going to jump straight into that one. Sonic Mania Plus is another one that I skipped last generation for whatever reason. I don't know why, even though I'm a big Sonic fan. You're probably
playing something else, honestly.
Yeah, well, they just released Sonic Mania Plus about a month or two ago on the Switch. And the Switch is perfect platform for that. So I went ahead and picked that up. And wow, let me tell you, that is hands down the best Sonic game I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
It takes all the elements that were so great about the old Sonic games, puts them together, and improves upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And improves upon it in a way that's they add more. The level designs are super interesting in my opinion, and there's new moves and things that you can do that are just they're just better. You know, I don't know how to explain it. It looks very much like an old school Sonic game,
Right?
like, but it looks like one, but it feels like a new experience.
Uh-huh.
It's a great game. I highly recommend it, especially if you're into Sonic games. There's really no reason to avoid this game. It's really great. I mentioned Octopath Traveler. I'm still working on that, but that one's actually going to sit for a bit because Spider-Man is taking over for now. I'm going to get through Spider-Man and probably jump into Dragon Quest. I've been looking forward to Dragon Quest for a very long time. And Octopath Traveler is a really, really great JRPG. And it's one that I can whittle through slowly over time since it's handheld. I love handheld, man. Handheld is so good. But yeah, those are the games that I've been playing. But I really wanted to talk about a game that I talked about earlier this year in an episode. I didn't get real deep into it, but that game is Yakuza 0.
Yep.
So for whatever reason, I don't know, like when Ryan and I were talking about on the last episode, we were talking about games that we didn't finish but want to go back to.
Right.
I got to thinking about Yakuza 0. I was like, I really enjoyed that game, and I got not too far, but a decent ways into it. And I stopped playing it because something else came out. I was like, I really want to go back to that game. I want to see what's happening with that storyline. And so I did. And I went through last weekend before I knew Dragon Quest and Spider-Man were coming out. And I was like, this is starting this is the season for new game releases. And if I don't play through Yakuza 0 now, then I won't have time to with all these new games coming out. So I literally, and I don't do this, mind you, I literally spent the entire day playing through Yakuza 0.
You are so ADD with games. The fact that you sat an entire day on one game.
I don't mean
that in a mean way. It's just you.
No, I didn't take it in a mean way.
Okay,
I'm just
good.
saying I don't sit in front of the game. I used to do this when I was a kid. I would sit for extended hours. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like as I've gotten older, like responsibilities and, you know, things like that take over. Kids, you know, you gotta get a
needy wife,
whatever the case may be. Like, I don't have the time to do that. Usually when I sit down for a play session, it's 2 hours at most, but usually it's an hour or less. I sat down and played this game. I'm telling you, I must have put 10 to 12 hours in it that day. I literally did not stop. I put it in and I played it through until I beat it.
Yep.
And I couldn't stop if I wanted to. Like, I was so invested in the storyline and the characters and what was going on that I just couldn't stop it. And
the characters are all so great.
This game came out a year and a half ago. So it's kind of old at this point, but I feel like it's getting kind of resurgence in popularity. Not resurgence. It's starting to get popular.
I've noticed other people saying things.
Yeah, it's one that I want to make sure that people are aware of is out there because it's been glazed over so many years. Like, it's been around since the PlayStation 2. The first Yakuza came out on the PlayStation 2 10 years ago. And I wanted to play it then, but I never, I don't know. I was halfway interested, but not interested enough to go over and get it. When Yakuza 0 came out, it felt like the perfect opportunity to jump in because there's 7 games now in this mainline series and a bunch of spinoffs. So I did try to play Yakuza 4. But when I started playing it, I felt like I was lost because I didn't know the story, the characters, anything about it. So when Yakuza 0 came out, I was like, now I can start from scratch and I can figure out what's going on. And it's on a modern system. It's updated graphics. I'm not going back to the PlayStation 2. And it really is the perfect starting point for the series. I went in not knowing anything about the characters, not knowing anything about the world or the story or anything about it. And that's how I would recommend you going into it as well. Like, try to avoid any kind of spoilers, because this game it's one of the most heavily story-driven games that I've played in a while.
Yes, because there's a lot of cutscenes.
A lot of cutscenes. I would say half of your time is spent watching cutscenes, and some people may be turned off by that. But and they're not English voiced.
Oh yeah, no.
So it's all dialogue.
Japanese with subtitles.
Subtitles, yeah.
But I think that adds to the game. I like that. Like,
I do too.
I mean, I watch anime and I'll watch subbed anime, so maybe that's okay with me.
I'm okay with it. Like, at first when I played it like that, I was like, okay, it makes sense because this is a Japanese world. You know, you're playing as Yakuza. You know, it needs to be in the original language and not dubbed.
I like that.
And the storyline, I don't know, maybe that also helped to immerse me even more.
Mm-hmm.
But the storyline is, so the premise is very simple, but all the things that happen along the way get super complicated.
Yes.
Like, you start off the game in an empty lot and you kind of beat the crap out of some guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out the next day that guy was murdered and you were framed for that murder because you were the last person there. And so come to find out that this empty lot that this happened in is a valuable piece of land that whoever owns that piece of land can kind of control the city and what's going on there. And that's very, very layman's terms. It goes in a lot more detail than that. But so the game is about these different factions of not just Yakuza, but other different groups who want to have that control, and them trying to acquire that land and figuring out who owns that land and getting to the people that own that land. And it gets super complicated. It sounds just very, very simple, and it is. And the game starts off that way. And I thought, well, that's really weird, you know, and simple premise. But as you progress, it gets so deep.
Yeah.
And
it's so complex and so rich that it's like they had to step you into it, honestly.
That is exactly how it's done. And I think that's great storytelling.
Yeah. And if you haven't been watching the game, like if I had walked in and asked you.
So you did. And so
but I had watched enough that you were able to tell me to catch up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. Like, she would ask me, like, what's going on here? And I'll be like, oh, man, there's a lot that has happened. A lot that has happened.
But
and
I can't even keep up.
I can't even begin to describe to you what has happened and progressed. The characters are some of the best characters I've ever experienced in a game. Like, I felt attached to these characters and I cared for what happens to them. And, you know, when somebody dies, it affected me. Like, to the point of tears, you know, like, and I don't get tears playing video games. I don't get, as much as I love story-based games. It's really hard for me to get truly attached to what's going on with the characters. I think the last game that I can think of that really, really attached me to the story and the characters was Persona 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's been a while.
Yep.
So stories in games these days, they get so kind of generic, and
they do.
You're here to save the world, you know, and the character interactions are just super, like,
same story, different characters.
Yeah, and it's not interesting, and I find myself just kind of skipping through it. They don't seem to invest a lot of effort into creating a story that's interesting and fun. Persona 4 did great at that. The part of Persona 4's reason for being so good at that is their character development. That's what Yakuza does. Yeah. They develop these characters. You start from not knowing anything about these characters, and you just slowly get this character development for each of them. And you grow to really care for and respect what they're doing. you may or may not agree with what they're doing, but you understand their motivations.
Yeah.
And the main character of the Yakuza series, and the one that you start playing as in this game from the get-go, is Kiryu Kazuma. He's just now getting involved with the Yakuza. And so you get to see what happens with him as the story progresses. Like, there's some big time drama, and I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything like that, but some major things happen with him and to him as a result of this framed murder that he is the one who's being framed for. And so a lot of things happen. He meets a lot of people. He has people who are on his side and trying to help him. He has people who are totally against him.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool to see his journey and how he gets through it. The other character that you play as is Goro Majima. Majima
I love Majima.
I loved his character so much.
Me too.
Like, he was so cool. And he owns a nightclub. And he's very respected and a respectable type person.
Yeah. That's what I liked about him.
Yeah. And he cares for the customer, and his motto is the customer's first.
Yep.
So when you're first introduced to him, you kind of see that, and you see these unruly customers who are being, just ridiculous in his nightclub. Yet he's still, instead of just, kicking them out and being like, oh, you're out of here. He approaches them in a way that's really nice and respectable. And, if they're still going to be unruly and, kind of out of order, then he'll take matters further, but he always takes the nice guy approach first. And I really liked and respected that part of him.
Me too. Yeah.
He was a nice guy first. So,
but not a pushover.
Right. Absolutely. He's not one to be messed with.
Right.
He is a former Yakuza member. And you find this out very early in his storyline. He's a former Yakuza member, and he wants to get back into the Yakuza.
Yep.
It's like that's his life goal, is to get back into the Yakuza. And I think that helps to establish him as a more respected individual to be part of the Yakuza. And so you get to see these two characters. And I found out later that Majima is also part of the Yakuza series moving forward. And there's some drastic character changes that happened to Majima that I was unaware of. And by the end of the game, when I'm seeing these transformations happen within him, I was like, this is crazy, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, you understand he does a complete 180 transformation of his character. But you see the events that lead up to that, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's weird, but I was so attached to his character. Like, I really, really was. He was both of them, really.
Yeah, me too.
I really like both of them. And even the supporting cast, like, you have all these different Yakuza bosses that are there. They're all, you grow to hate some of these guys.
Yes.
And,
because they're mobsters, basically.
And they're bad guys.
Yeah.
They're just bad guys. And they do such a good job of building their character. And also the supporting cast of people that are trying to help Kiryu.
Right.
And the people that are helping Majima, and you just, the character development is wonderful in this game.
It is.
So I'm going to stop gushing about the story, because I really highly suggest that anybody, if you are on the fence about this game at all, and actually I'm not done talking about it. I sound like I'm closing it up, but I'm not. You really need to give this game a shot, especially if you're into story-based games, if you're into binge watching TV shows,
I like how you look at me.
Yes, because you are. Like, it's a game that's also like a really long, drawn out, really interesting storyline.
Yes, that's what I liked about it. Yeah, I did.
So I've talked enough about the story. I've never talked about the gameplay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The gameplay is you running around this city, and I can't remember the name of the city, even though it's consistent throughout the series as far as I'm aware. But you are interacting with different NPCs. You're questing for people. You can go into an arcade and play arcade games.
Yes, that's funny.
You can do karaoke, and the karaoke is real goofy.
Yes, I love it.
You can there's just a whole lot of like, oh, you can go watch adult videos.
I was gonna say you could go to the porn shop.
But it's not really porn, so it's like
it's not. It's funny, and there's like a little video that you watch.
Yeah, and it's just a girl in a bikini or something,
and like bubbles afloat.
Yeah,
it's like
so
you couldn't.
weird.
It's not something that we couldn't play around the kids.
I wouldn't. It's suggestive.
It's very awkward. It's one of those, but there's nothing inappropriate. You're just like, oh.
It's suggestive in a weird type of way. Like there's this girl.
Well, because it ends with
one of the videos
tissues.
Yes. Okay. There's this one scene where a girl was hugging on this phallic looking balloon, let's say.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
It was just so like cringy. Like,
were you like looking around, make sure nobody?
This is more cringy than actual porn. I'm like, I don't. But yeah, it always finished the videos with there'd be like a tissue box and some lotion next to the TV. It's so weird. It's so weird and goofy. And that's what's great about this game. This game has such a serious tone. Mm-hmm. Like the storyline is very dark. Like there's really nothing positive that happens with these characters.
No. Well, they're mobsters. Like, yeah, right. They're not like happy fun time unicorn mobsters.
No, not at all. So you see these things happening to them, and it's like in order to break the seriousness of the story, they have all this goofy stuff going on. Yeah. Like the karaoke is so cool. Like they're doing the karaoke and they change the backdrop to where these guys imagine that they're on stage or something performing.
It's really funny.
And it's like you push buttons, and it's like a rhythm game. So you're pushing buttons in order with the lyrics or something. But it's so over the top and goofy.
They're so like they get into it.
Yes, they get
are
into it.
Serious about that karaoke.
Also, the side quests. Like, I didn't tell you about this one. This was one of the last ones that I did.
I was probably sleeping.
Yeah, I found a dominatrix.
Nice.
And she was outside this front of this building with a guy who wanted to be humiliated in public, but she wasn't really good at it. You know, she was just like, okay, can you please do this? You know, she's very like nice and proper and everything. It's like,
what kind of dominatrix is that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what this guy was getting pissed. He's like, I'm paying you to humiliate me. It's so weird. And so Kazuma has to go up to her, or he goes up there and says, what's going on? He's like, you're almost about to lose your client because you're not doing what you're paid to be doing. And she's like, I just don't know how. And so Kazuma, the side quest is Kazuma having to teach this girl how to be a dominatrix. So you go into this park and
into a park. Nice.
Yeah, it's so goofy.
Setting.
It's so goofy. You go into this park and she's like, okay, so like, oh man, I'm trying to think of a specific example.
When did she just wake up one day and go, I think I might be a dominatrix, but I don't know how.
That's the weird part about it. I don't know.
What is her idea of a dominatrix?
So he's like, they go to the park and he's like, you have options. She's like, okay, I need to, what do I do in this situation? And it's like, you got to tell him to squeal like a pig, or tell him to get up and or tell him to sit down. And, you know, you have nice options, and then you have like the squeal like a pig. The obvious one is going to be the squeal like a pig.
Right.
Obviously. So it's stuff like that, the options that you have to choose. So you're teaching her what to say and what to do and how to react and how to have a backbone with these weird, creepy clients of hers. I wish you would have
recorded, like we could have recorded that.
That's just one quest line. Okay. Right. Oh, and at the end of that quest, you are in her room with her, talking to her about it, and then the client comes in, the same client that almost fired her, and Kazuma's like, he's got to hide, so he goes and hides, and so he's watching her be a dominatrix with this dude, and then at the end of it, the guy discovers that the Kazuma's in there.
Yes.
And she's like trying to play off, why is he in here? Why is he here? She said, and then she played it off, Kazuma says, you wanted to be humiliated in public. Well, now you had somebody watching you. It was so weird. Like I'm not doing this thing justice at all by describing it.
You had to be a dominatrix, so
this is just one example of how crazy these quest lines get and how just goofy everything is about this game. So that's another great thing about it. It's like yes, you can carry on the storyline and get that gritty, dark, awesome storyline.
Right.
But you can also like have these lighthearted, goofy things that are complete contrasting with the main storyline.
Right.
And I think that makes for a really great, well-rounded experience.
Right. Yeah.
It feels like a
you don't feel dirty because of the darkness, but
you get the gritty, dark storyline of, you know, like similar to a TV show or a movie.
Right.
But you also still feel like you're playing a video game. And it's weird to say. Another huge aspect of this game is fighting. The fighting system works really well. It's got a really nice combo system. You can change between 6 different fighting styles, 3 per character. Mm-hmm. And each one feels really, truly different and unique. Like Kazuma, the one I used mostly with Kazuma was just kind of brunt force. Yeah. Fist combat. He also picks up items from around the stage and beats down guys with them. And it's really violent. And it's really like... It's really like, how are these guys not dying? You just smacked them over the head.
You know what? Even though it's violent, it doesn't feel. It's not like gory, disgusting.
It's
you know
silly,
what I mean?
It's silly violence,
right? It's almost cartoony.
Yeah,
yeah. Because you played this all day in a children's home. I didn't want people to think.
Majima, one of his fighting styles uses a weapon, and so he has this baseball bat. His fighting style, that's another reason why I love Majima. His fighting style is so like he's beating the crap out of guys with a baseball bat, and you know, he goes from being this you know, well-respected nice guy to just busting heads with a baseball bat. And his fighting style is really fast and fun, and you really feel like a badass when you play as him. So the fighting style is amazing. I truly enjoyed like a lot of the story-based scenes would be like you fighting through some waves of enemies before you get to the boss or whatever. And the boss fights are so fun and challenging. It's not an easy game by any means. You have to learn these combos, and you have to upgrade your character to learn more combos, to upgrade your health and things like that. So the progression it feels really nice. Right. Oh, and you're in 2 different cities, by the way. There was one city that you're in with Kazuma, and there's another city you're in with Majima. Majima and Kazuma later in the series, you know, they meet and have interactions, like story-based interactions, but they don't really meet in Zero. Right. And it's kind of weird. Like, I thought that later on in the game when I learned that they're both carried on and that they're kind of rivals, I thought that might be introduced in this game, and it really kind of wasn't. Right. But I wish it would have been. It would have made for some different. I just wanted I wanted my 2 playable characters to meet at some point, and then do I have to choose which one I'm gonna side with? It would have been Majima. I'm sorry. I like Kazuma. I do. I like Kazuma just as much, but Majima's just, I don't know, something about him. He has that kind of spark about him, that badass, like I'm a cool guy, you know. I like that persona. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna stop gushing about the game. I really think that and Yakuza 0 it goes on sale for like $20 all the time. I mean, it is worth $60. This game is so good. It is so good. And if you are interested in story-based games at all, if you feel like games have been lacking in story, this is the game for you. It really is. I can't speak highly enough of it. And
were you surprised that you liked it so much?
I'm beyond shocked. Like, honestly, this game came out last year. This right now, even over God of War, is game of the year for me. I loved it that much. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to kind of reevaluate it again on the podcast, because I talked about it before, but I don't feel like I gave the game justice because I didn't get far enough into it to really see it through. Right. The thing is the last time, or when I played it previously, the storyline was getting interesting, but it really didn't kick off. Right. And it doesn't reach that kickoff point till about, I don't know, a third of the way into the game. And that's not to say that the stuff that happens before then is not good. Right. It's just, you know, the real breaking points of the storyline and it's all establishing. It's establishing the plot. It's establishing the characters. Right. So, and by nature, those establishing points are not as enjoyable. But here's the thing, though. If I didn't have those establishing points of the plot and the characters, the mainline story that happens later, I don't think would have been as interesting.
Right.
You need that build up to really grow an attachment to what's going on. And it's a great game. And please, if you're on the fence, give it a shot. I really think you'll like it. So, that's all I have to talk about. I feel like I've been rambling on for a long time.
No.
Amy, what do you have to say or talk about?
I really don't have anything game. The only game that I've been playing is on my phone.
Yeah.
It's Homescapes.
Homescapes?
I'm building up my home right now.
It's a building game? Like Sims or something?
No.
Okay, what?
It's one of those ones where you like match up. You try and match the little things, and there's a little, like, you try to get all the cherries, or you try to...
Yeah, I saw you play. It's just a puzzle game.
It's just a puzzle game, and then you earn these little stars if you win it, and then after you have the stars, like, I need 3 stars, and now I can put wallpaper in my kitchen. I've been playing it a while. It's one of those ones that you can... It's just, like, mindless, and I like that. Like, if I'm waiting in carpool line.
Yeah.
So that's really all it is.
That's cool. Yeah, I can see that. Like, a good mindless game is... Sometimes I'm just in the mood for that. Like...
Yeah.
What was it, last week? Actually, when was that? Remember, I was playing, or I had a really rough week.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to play something that was completely mindless and that I could just enjoy and not have to think about it too hard. And I don't remember what game that was that I went to for that. But yeah, it's usually a game that you can just push buttons and it's kind of like second nature to you.
Pretty
and
much.
You don't have to think about...
You can carry out a conversation while you do it.
You don't have to think about the story that's going on. You don't have to think about, like, strategizing your next moves or whatever. It's just... Yeah.
No.
I am always in the mood for one of those games. Sometimes it's weird because sometimes you're in a mood for a certain type of game.
Yep.
And that's why I have so many games. It's like, am I in the mood for an RPG or an action game or a platformer or a puzzle game or fighter? Is this or shoot 'em up? There's so many different varieties of games. It's like I can jump into whatever I'm in the mood for at that time. That's what I love about gaming. There's so much variation and just it's such a great way to occupy your time whenever you need that escape.
Yeah.
And every now and then I just need that escape, Life gets you sometimes, So I wanted to touch on something really cool about Fortnite real quick.
Yeah.
So and the reason why I want to talk about this is because this is something that's new that I haven't seen done before and I think is awesome. We have Fortnite on our PC, on our Switch, the Xbox One, and the PlayStation 4, but PlayStation 4 doesn't let you do what I'm going to talk about. So the crossplay part of Fortnite is so cool. I set it up to where Katie was on the PC. We had one person on the PC. We had one person on the Xbox One. And then we had one person on the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
All playing in the same game at the same time together.
Yes.
That is...
Whoever came up with that function is a parent because you got to find a way to get them all on at the same time.
The fact that Xbox and Nintendo are willing to work together and the PC to bring all these different players together like this is a step in the right direction that I want to see more often, and I love it. It was so cool to be able to play with everybody on separate systems. Like in the past, I would have had to have 3 PCs or 3 Switches or 3 Xbox Ones to make this happen. But because of this cross-play ability, I didn't have to do that. And we were all able to play together. And it was fun. We were all sitting in the living room and, communicating and talking to each other and having a good time while playing an online multiplayer game together. And that is amazing. And I love it. And kudos to you, Fortnite. Yes. Kudos to you, Microsoft and Nintendo, for making this happen.
Yeah.
PlayStation, jump on board, man. You guys are missing the boat here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that and gush about that a little bit. I think I took a picture of it. It's like on the corner of the screen, you had the 3 different usernames, and each one of them had one of them had an Xbox controller, one of them had a Switch controller, and the other one had a PC looking thing. It's just cool to see that. I do want to say though, setting up accounts for 3 different accounts is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that could be done easier, but you know what? It took me like an hour to set this stuff up. It was ridiculous, but it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, it was.
And the fact that we have 4 kids and they all love Fortnite and we can all play together in the same house is really cool.
We need to get a video of Owen's Fortnite dances.
Oh,
so 4-year-old
have the three people playing while Owen's doing the Fortnite dance in the foreground. Oh yeah. Amy, thanks for joining me on this episode.
Anytime. I love it.
Sorry, I talked your ear off. Didn't give you much to say.
Hey, this is basically my life. So.
No, it's not. It's my life. This is the one time you get to sit and listen to me. I'm joking. Anyway, you can find us online. We're at jabgcast.com. That's jabgcast.com. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us there. Ask us questions. You know, if you have a good user submitted question, put it on there, and we'll talk about it in an episode. Actually, I'd like to do that some more. We did that once, but we haven't really asked for it again. I'm going to ask for it. Putting the question out there. Send us some feedback and questions so we can talk about it on the show.
Yes.
We need discussion topics. Also, I said it earlier, YouTube. We're on YouTube. If you guys just listen to the audio podcast gets quite a few listeners, but we don't get very many on YouTube, which is really weird. So yeah, if you guys want to go give us a subscribe on YouTube, that would be great. Some reviews and stuff would also be helpful. It just helps to get more accessibility. It helps to promote the podcast. So if you enjoy the show, please help us in that regard. That's it, I guess.
Come see us.
Come see us at Retropalooza.
Yes.
That's right. September 29th and 30th. We'll be there. Arlington, Texas.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.